Hey fam, welcome back. So today we're going to be talking about the Grayscale Fibonacci retracement max profit targets. So with that being said, let's get it. Okay, so I'm going to fly through these with y'all. We're going to go local and also max targets here. So starting with LTCN, basically do the swing high to the swing low. You guys know how we do this. It's going to be roughly about 83, 130, 174, and then $205. Again, you can put in, whatever your average share price is and also the amount of money that you have invested in terms of US dollars or whatever your currency is to kind of figure out what the multiplication here is, like in terms of whether you're going to get like a 10x, 20x, 50x, and so on. Okay, so doing the macro targets here. So LTCN, we can see that you have roughly about $820. You have 1,350, 1,850, and then roughly about 2,155 respectively. So, pretty good return here. Max Fibonacci targets more than 100x at this point from the current price. I do think such a price is possible. It's possible it could either undershoot or overshoot it. We'll just have to wait and see just how explosive this bull run is going to be. So BCHG. So we got the local levels here, 30, we'll just call that 37, roughly about 58, 76, and 89 respectively. And for the macro level on BCHG, we're looking at roughly about $95, 158, 217, and roughly about $254. HSEN. I do think HSEN is going to be a little bit more of a late mover. Like I said, I think everything that's not LTCN, BCHG, ETCG, and ETH, the rest of them are likely going to move during the alt season, which is after Bitcoin and ETH top out. So maybe like kind of in the middle, towards the end of Q1, Q2 of next year or something like that. So 15, 23, 31, and 35 respectively. Now, some of these trusts did not actually get a full bull run last cycle, so even the peaks that you see on the charts here may not actually even be the previous peak or the peak from the previous cycle, assuming that it had actually had time to play out for the entire cycle. So just to keep that in mind. So 50, 78, 109, and roughly about 127 respectively. ETCG. So again, this is an oscillator to Ethereum. When Ethereum pops off, ETH Classic is likely also going to pop off. That's usually just how it works. They work in tandem. So you have 27 here, roughly about 40, 53, and then $61 respectively. So the macro level here is going to be much larger. And, with as small as some of the market caps are on some of these, I mean, the gains could just be absolutely stupid. They could be in the hundreds of X's. It's possible. You got some of these. We haven't looked at it in a while on the Grayscale side, but some of these trusts only have like $4, $5, $6 million market caps. I mean, if that was in the native space, it would be like probably the top 500, top 600. So is it possible for a $6 million market cap to do 100x? Absolutely. 6 million times 100 is only 600 million. So yeah, okay. So macro levels here, 150. We have 250, 340, and 400 respectively for ETCG. ETH. So we got our local level here. Assuming that this is the actual low here, which it could be. 48.5, we have 66, 84.5, and then roughly about 96 respectively. From macro high to macro low here, we have 74, 118, 160, and then roughly about 188 respectively. Now, this is just my opinion. Okay, a lot of people might, try to throw some shade at me for this, but as much of an upside as things like LTC and BCHG could have, in my opinion, I think a lot of these native altcoin trusts are actually going to have much more upside because, again, they are altcoin related. These two right here are Bitcoin related. These two are Ethereum related, and the upside for those is much smaller than some of the altcoins. I'm not saying LTC and a BCHG have small upside. I'm saying Litecoin and Bitcoin itself has smaller upside than the actual native counterparts to these trusts. So anyways, once again, do the local level here. So local level on PhilG, we're looking at roughly about 227, 336. We'll just call that one 470, and then roughly about 536 respectively. So macro swing high to swing low here. Big numbers here, so roughly about 640, 1,000. Looks like just shy of 1,400, and then 1,650 respectively. So GBAT, swing high to swing low on the local level here. Looking at roughly about $31. Let's see, $49.50, $65, and roughly about $77 respectively. It's a little hard to see this on this chart because the candles are so small. I mean, they're not small, but when you zoom out to kind of this is what crypto actually these fib levels up here. Just to show you guys, this is what crypto could actually look like. It could really look like something like that during the bull run. So when you see these tiny little candles here, you're kind of like, okay, what the hell? How is that even possible? But it does happen. Okay, I'll actually go back here in a minute and show you on Bitcoin. So 5160, 81, 110, and roughly about 130 respectively. Okay, so GLIV, we have, let's see, 75, 111. We'll just call that one 150 and then 170 respectively. And then going over the macro level here, we have 123, 193, 253, and roughly about 305. G-Link, again, this is everybody's, well, I shouldn't say everybody's favorite. I suppose probably Solana is a little bit more popular than Chainlink, but a lot of people love Chainlink too. Okay, so local level here, we have 177, 260, 356, and then roughly about 410. And then in terms of the macro level, we have 350, 540, 740, and 865. GSOL. There's not really a local level here. I mean, the previous swing high is pretty much just right below the all-time highs, which is to be expected. I mean, there's probably going to be some profit takers and some bears sitting up at the highs trying to short that zone. That's usually how it goes in trading. So I'm just going to do the actual macro level here. All right, so we have roughly about 800, 1140, 1460, and 1650 respectively. So potentially maybe as much as a 5x is still left on this move. GXLM, so GXLM local retracement here. We're looking at roughly about 105, 160, 210, and then 250 respectively. And then in terms of the actual macro itself, God, it's hard to believe that the previous bull run was that long ago, all the way back in late October, November of 2021. It's amazing how time flies. So 150, 237, 330, and then 390 respectively. Mana, so local level here, Again, this is assuming that this is the swing high and swing low. We have roughly about 33, 50, 66 and a half, and 76 respectively. And then in terms of macro to the swing low, which of course the swing low in this case would be forward looking. We're not going to go back in time here for the swing low. So in terms of those levels, we're looking at roughly about $110, 176, 240, and 276 respectively. Zcash. This one likely, in my opinion, is also going to be a late mover. Zcash doesn't usually move early during the bull runs. So 1430, 2160. We'll just call that 129, and then 33. And you can see that we had this big candle top here during October 2021. But again, you guys got to understand, Zcash, the trust itself didn't even get an actual full run before November 2021, just a month later when the markets dumped as a whole into the crypto bear winter. So it's possible the upside could be much, much greater than these Fibonacci retracement levels. Okay, so 66, 102, 100, we'll just call that one 140, and then roughly about 168 respectively. So these are the max levels. Adjust your numbers accordingly. It depends on how much money you have invested and how much what your average cost is in comparison to some of these targets. I'm sure you guys can figure out those numbers. It's not that complicated. You basically just take whatever the target is you're looking at, divide that by your cost basis, and then that'll give you like how many X's you're going to get, like 10, 20, 30X, and then you basically just times that by the dollar amount that you have invested. Okay, so in terms of what I was talking about before, so here's what I mean when I say that crypto could, do something crazy to where you almost can't even see it on the charts. I mean, guys, look, we had a bull run back here in 2013. When you look at this chart over time, you can't even see this bull run. Okay, it doesn't even exist. It's so small. You almost can't even see the 2017 bull run. Because what did it do? It went really stupid and got just absolutely massive. And yeah, that's kind of what it does. Actually, that's probably not right. So if I were to do this chart correctly of how I think it's going to look, it's probably going to look something like, I would say something like this is probably more realistic in terms of what we're going to see. Okay. So I think this flag is going to break out and we're going to have a big fat move to the upside. But I mean, there was a bull run back in 2013, but you can't really see it when you have the chart zoomed out like this. We really, really got to zoom in to actually see just how significant this was. And again, this is kind of almost like an optical illusion. I don't know if you guys know what that is, but basically it's pretty much is like where things are not what they appear to be, right? So when you zoom out, you can't even see this bull run because it's so small. But when you zoom in and you realize the multiplier on this thing is absolutely stupid, it kind of makes you wonder, right? So you can see that basically the price of Bitcoin, let's say at these lows, went from $100 to over almost $1,200. I mean, that's a 12x. But if we measure it from the absolute bottom here, and again, I know this video is not about Bitcoin, but if I were just to measure this, let's say down here from $10, okay? $10 all the way up to this swing high up here, 5,900% move, or roughly about 100x return on Bitcoin. And again, this was a huge run for the cycle. But if I zoom out, you guys can see that this is what it looks like going forward in time, okay? Some of these trusts could look like this, okay? You can see these little tiny moves in the trust and think, oh yeah, it's not going to do anything, whatever, it's not going anywhere. And then it makes people's heads spin around because it does like a 50, 100, 1,000x, and you're like, what the hell just happened, dude? How did I miss on that? How did I miss out on that? That's what I was trying to describe to you guys when I told you that most of these parabolic moves are going to be way larger than people expect, okay? Most people are going to underestimate just how significant these moves are going to be. And I think Bitcoin, in my opinion, within probably the next 2 to 4 weeks is going to be moving back up to that $70,000 to $75,000 range. We could see Bitcoin start smashing all-time highs next month. It's possible. If not, it's going to happen in November. So anyways, hope you all enjoyed this content. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.